Greetings and welcome to today's exciting Microsoft Excel tutorial. In this video, we are going to cover everything we need to know about pivot table in Microsoft Excel. Now, pivot table in Microsoft Excel is like a summary of a table. No matter the volume of a table or how large a table might be in Microsoft Excel, you can use Microsoft Pivot Table to summarize the table. But before that, you have to have a goal in mind, a target, something that you are planning to pivot. In this data sheet now, we have a data of a company which contains the age column, gender column, parental status column, currency, cost, registrations, and cost per registration. Now, if you look at this table now, the cost per registration now was gotten from divided by registration. Now, if you go through down the line, you see there is error under the cost per registration. Look at it here now. Now, and you can see the cost of the error. When a number is divided by 0, gives you error. So we want to return 0 to all that are divided by 0. How do we do that? We use what we call if error function. Equal to if error. Now, if this is an error, let the table return 0. But if it's not an error, let it return the supposed figure. The right answer to that, we press enter and we quickly flash fill. You see it now, it returned error that is 000 throughout the message. So now, as we continue, please, before we pivot this table now, we have finished cleaning up the table. And we have to move to the pivoting of this table. But before that, I am pleading with you to subscribe to my channel so that you'll help me to grow. Drop your comments. Give me feedback. If you want the data set for your hands-on training or hands-on learning, drop it in a comment. I will send it to you. I'll give you the link for you to download the data set for your hands-on learning. Please hit the bell button so that you will be notified whenever I drop a new video. Let's quickly move on. Now, for you to pivot a table, you have to select the whole of the table that you are planning to pivot with a goal in mind. Click on the Insert menu. That is from the ribbon bar, you click on the Insert ribbon. Then come to this pivot table. A drop-down menu will appear from table/range. That is from the already existing table. That is the table you want to pivot. Now, if you have a table or a data set you want to pivot that contains a table, a data set that contains a table that you wish to pivot, that is not from the already table, that is within the table that you are currently working on, the best thing to do now is to click on from external source. Maybe it could be PDF table from web or wherever you can get the table from, or from data model. You now click external data source. Now we select from the table. Pivot table from the table or range will now prompt you a dialog box that asks you 2 questions. New worksheet or existing worksheet. I will prefer you select the new worksheet because it will give you a clear view of everything that you want to do. So you click on new worksheet. A table, we are now here now. This is the environment like in Microsoft Excel. Pivot table analyzer will now present you with the pivot table field where you will now see all the columns of that particular table. In this case, we can see age, gender, parental status, currency, and among others. Now, we quickly start. Because I had a goal in mind, I had something, a target, what I'm targeting, a particular thing I want to pivot. I want to pivot the age, as in under the rows, and the registration under the value list. You can add more. You can say maybe parental status under column. Sometimes or most times, pivot table can take a lot of time if you don't have something, a goal in mind. It is best advised that before you pivot a table, most especially when you have a large volume of data, you get this volume of data now is small and it is easily managed by me. But when you have a large volume of data now, so you better have a goal in mind so that when you come to the pivot table field, you go straight to that goal you had in mind. So you can also remove it if you don't want by unchecking the box. Now, I have this age and I have the registration. But now, I want now us to calculate the average of this registration because it will work. The sum of the registration will go well with the average of the registration against the age. Now, you position here, click on the value field settings. From the value field settings, a dialog box that display will now summarize the value field by sum, count, average. You select the particular one you want to calculate. We are working on the average and click on OK. Automatically, you see the list of the average. Now, from here now, you now will continue your work. Now, like in Microsoft Excel, you can manipulate the whole thing. You can reduce this decimal number to one decimal number by clicking on Home tab. Then you reduce it to the particular decimal number that you want, maybe to two decimal number or to three decimal number, depending on what you want, as the case may be. So I just reduce it to this barest minimum as I could now, and I leave the less. So now you can quickly format this. You can increase the font size of this table that you pivoted now. You can use borders. You can add borders to them. You see it? Depending on what you want, you can come to design and change the mode of the table, the model of the table. You see what I'm doing? You can change it to design. You can change it, get it to your taste, what you want. Under this, you can also use the subtotal. You can use the grand total. You can use the report layout. You can use it show in a tabular. You get? Make it. You can come here and still add. Maybe I want to add the gender here under the row. So when you have this like this, you look at the table you have pivoted, how clean it is. So when you are done with all these things, the best thing to do is to save your table. But I want to remind you now, when you alter something now in the main table, the source table like this, when you alter anything in the source table here, the only way for it to reflect in the pivot table is by what? Coming to the pivot table, right click and refresh the pivot table for it to reflect there, whatever you've altered. So guys, I believe with this little explanation and the learning ethics that I just showed you about this pivot table, it will be clear for you to manipulate any other things in your data analysis using pivot table. Please do not forget to subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching. Thank you. As you subscribe, hit the bell button for you to be notified. Cheers.